I often see people leaving the fish on the surface of the pond when the fish are dead to allow the other fish to consume them. And they believe that it is a source of feed for the fish to complement their commercial feed. This practice is very common, and a lot of people, especially beginners, are also asking as to whether that practice is the best practice. Yes, this is served as food for the fish, and those who practice also argue that it also serves as nutrient for plants based or aquatic plants to grow. The aquatic plants could be algae. These plants also serve as feed for the fish. Therefore, when the fish are dead, they leave them in the pond to serve as feed and nutrient for the aquatic plants to grow. Now, is this the best practice? In this video, I'm going to answer to the best of my ability and based on my knowledge and experience whether this practice is the ideal way or it is ideal to remove the dead fish from the pond. Please, if you are new to this channel, my name is Abdulaziz Issa. All we do in this channel is to share fish farming tips that will help you to grow your fish farm. So whether you're a beginner or experienced fish farmer, please subscribe to the channel and let's share our ideas together. Now, like I introduced, do you leave the dead fish in the pond for other fish to consume, or do you remove the fish from the pond? Which one is best? I will say, based on my experience and research, that removing the dead fish from the surface of the pond is far, far better than leaving them in the pond for other fish to consume. I will give you 7 reasons to prove this. If you have been wondering, why not leave it for them to consume? You are right. But if I give you these 7 reasons, you will forget what you are thinking. Now, let's even think of this. It is not even all the fish that are cannibalistic or that consume other fish. Because of that, some of the fish, when they die, they will not even mind. So we're not talking about them. We're talking about the kind of fish that when they are dead and you leave them in the pond, they consume them. In such fish, cannibalism is very high. And mostly this is in catfish farming. Catfish are cannibalistic in nature and they consume each other even when they are alive. When one is weak or is bleeding or is injured, others use it as feed. So this behavior is very common and it is very bad because most fish farmers lose a lot of fish through these practices. And when the fish die and you allow the other fish to consume the dead fish in the pond, you are teaching them or you are encouraging their cannibalistic behavior, and you are letting them know that that behavior is good. So when they are used to eating the dead fish, then they become cannibalistic again or more. And when their others are not even dead and they are weak or they are injured, then they use them as feed. So the number one reason why you must remove the dead fish from the pond and not allow the other fish to consume is to stop their cannibalistic behavior. So leaving the dead fish is increasing the cannibalistic behavior of the fish, and cannibalism is going to be high in the pond, and you are going to lose a lot of fish through that. Now, the second reason is that when the fish are dead and they decompose, like earlier, they said, or the arguments are saying that when they are dead, the nutrient support algae to glue. That algae, when they grow, it serves as feed for the fish. That is true. But bear in mind that excessive algae or these plant-based feed, when they are excessive in the pond, they also compete for oxygen and space. And for that matter, the oxygen level, especially during night, is going to be very low for the fish. So the too much of those algae or those nutrients in the fish pond is also bad. So that is the second reason why you must remove the dead fish from the pond. Now the third reason is that when they decay and decompose into the pond, it increases the odor or the scent level in the farm. And when people visit the farm, the place is very smelling. Or you are keeping your fish in the community, like cities as we are in now, the entire neighborhood is smelling, and people will be complaining about your farm. And even you yourself, as the farmer or the caretakers, you will not be even be comfortable to be around the farm. And even the fish themselves, the scent and the dirtiness of the water would not be ideal for them. Because of this reason, you must remove the dead fish from the pond. Now, the fourth reason why you must remove the dead fish from the pond is that dead fish also attract predators. If I say predators, the fish eating living organism, they also eat the fish. So when that happens, they try to come around to use the dead fish as feed. For instance, the bears, the snakes, the flies, and all these, they eat or they consume the fish. So when they come into the fish pond to consume, they do not only consume the dead fish, but they also contaminate the water body, or they also give diseases or introduce diseases into the pond that can also lead to mortality. Or better still, when they become used to the pond, situation where that there's not even dead fish and they come, then they will predate on the live fish, which you will not want to experience. So preventing predators is the fifth reason why you must remove the dead fish from your farm. Remove the dead fish from the pond is that the dead fish can also introduce diseases and pests into the farm. For instance, you don't know what caused the death of the fish. The kind of disease that lead to the death might be diseases that can be quicker spread among other fish. So when a fish is dead and you don't remove that fish, and it happens to be killed by diseases, and that diseases is transferable, it can contaminate or it can be transferred into the water and subsequently transfer into the fish. And the consequences that you are going to lose, if not all, but most of the fish, just because of the failure to remove one single dead fish. So please, not only removing, some people even remove the fish and mash it or grind it or cut it into pieces and give it back to the fish to eat. All these practices, it will only be best if you know what kills the fish. If it is disease free or other causes you think is not harmful to the fish, better you can do that. But once you don't know what caused the death of the fish and you give it back to the fish to consume, and it happens to be diseases and that disease spread, you are likely to lose your fish because of that poor attitude or bad fish farm management. So please make sure you remove the fish to protect the spread of diseases among other fish. Now, the seventh reason is that such practice is not biosecurity friendly. It violates the biosecurity practice of fish farming. Remember, when you set up your fish farm, you are subjected or you are supposed to register with the required regulatory bodies. These regulatory bodies have the regulatory system for you as a farmer, for you to follow. This is just a guide to make sure that you have a friendly production, because in this our era, the global change is affecting the ecosystem, and all bodies are trying hard to fight the global change. And among it is also the practices of fish farmers. So because of that, these bodies set up these regulations to govern the practices, and leaving the dead fish in the pond to be smelling and to be causing more diseases and to be spreading predators around. All these are not good practices and is against the practice of these regulatory bodies. So make sure that you remove the dead fish from the pond and you will save your farm from these calamities. If you have followed along in this video, I have explained 7 reasons why you must remove the dead fish from your farm. And even if you're going to give the fish back to the farm for the other fish to consume, make sure that you know the actual causes of the death of the fish. And also make sure that you do not do it such a way that it will be causing smelling in the farm. In general ruling, remove the dead fish. And after removing, the next question is, how do you decompose or how do you dispose of the dead fish? Mind you, throwing the fish just around or in the nearby bush or in the farm, you are causing more harm because the place will be smelling. Like I said, predators will come around and all these stuffs. You need to dispose of your dead fish good manner. And the best way to do is to bury the fish. Bury the fish. Bury the fish. When you bury it completely, the place will not be smelling and that order. I'll share an experience with you. There was a time I experienced massive mortality. And in my place, there's a nearby bush. I thought I could dispose them. Even because prior to that, when I experienced little death here and there, I was just thrown into the nearby bush. So when I disposed of the dead fish in there, and then the neighbors, they came and explained and complained to me that the place has been smelling and they have been wondering what happened. Until later, they found out that I've been throwing dead fish into that nearby bush, and that caused them the place to be smelling. So when they complained that to me, then forth I started burying the fish, and till now I don't have any issue with the community members. So this, when you practice that, is going to be the best manner. Unless you also have a way of recycling or reusing that dead fish. For instance, some fish feed uses fish meal or dead fish. So if you research and you believe that the death of the fish is not caused by diseases, and that dead fish can be reused to add to other nutrients to make feed for the fish, then that is best. You can practice that. However, if you don't test and you just go ahead and use the feed and use the fish to produce feed, you are likely to cause more harm than good. Please, if you found value in the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.